Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is June 25th, and right now we are looking at the visible satellite imagery. And if you look closely here across British Columbia, some of central and eastern Canada, you can see the ongoing smoke and the forest fires here across the area here. Hopefully not a sign of things to come this summer. But zooming in on the Pacific Northwest, you can see this marine layer pushing up against the Cascades and the coastal range of Oregon. You can see the valley features, and you can also see this marine layer burning off as we go through the late morning hours currently. And we're also going to have some thunderstorm development here over the next few days across the region. We'll take a look at what and who can expect what and what time of the day these thunderstorms are going to happen, and who's going to be susceptible to some severe storms even over the next couple of days as well. And as always, we'll take a look at the extended forecast and what kind of temperatures we can expect. This is the visitor center, definitely not dealing with that marine layer up there. Nice glorious blue sky out there, and this is going to be the case for at least much of the morning and early afternoon hours for much of the Cascades. North Cascades, however, may get some thunderstorms, as you can see here on this National Weather Service graphic. Spokane, there is a flood watch for that area too. The next couple of days could be some strong storms out there. Some heavy downpours and some dangerous lightning are possible also. This is the day one categorical outlook here, and they probably could have extended this margin a little bit further south. There's probably going to be some strong storms, especially the next couple of days here across the Nevada north border into Idaho and even Oregon. And then day two, I might introduce it here across some of Oregon down towards Nevada and southeast Oregon, south and southern Idaho as well. Day three, kind of rinse and repeat, mainly Cascade East threat. Not expecting thunderstorms in the Seattle, Portland metro or Vancouver, BC here, but the higher terrain off to the east definitely could see some action. This is looking at dynamic tropopause potential temperature. You can see the big ridge across some of the southwest and Texas here, and we're just kind of under this general troughing here, keeping us from getting too hot across Pacific Northwest, but it's going to keep the thunderstorm activity going here for the next few days. You can kind of see the spin in the atmosphere as you can see the evolution of this ridge down across Texas. This is probably actually going to build back towards the southwest and might even start to include us across the Pacific Northwest in the extended forecast. More on that here in a minute. This is looking at composite reflectivity. This is what the Doppler radar may look like over the next few days. And as you can see as we go through the day today, some of these strong storms right across the Nevada-Oregon border here, Idaho, and you can see some of the North Cascades getting in the action as well, Montana. And then as we scroll on into Monday, watch what happens here. Look at this spin in the atmosphere here. These could be some severe storms down across northern Nevada into Idaho here, right along the border. I would not even be surprised to see, funnel cloud or even a brief tornado with some of this action down here. Dangerous lightning, gusty winds, small hail as well, maybe even a little bit bigger than small hail across the area too. And then you can kind of see the spin in the atmosphere continue on in through Tuesday as we redevelop those thunderstorms across some of eastern Oregon, Idaho, and Montana also. So yeah, we'll visit that again tomorrow, and we'll check out this low pressure system and see what it's going to do, but it looks kind of interesting there across some of southern Idaho on in through Tuesday. This is the lightning flash density potential on the HER 3KM. So as we go through the afternoon today, you can see North Cascade, some of the higher elevation of BC. Some of these storms are trying to creep out of the northeast towards the lower elevations. It doesn't look like they're going to make it, at least according to the HER, but you can see a lot of lightning off to the east here. And then as we go all the way in through Monday, you see that redevelop, and you can kind of see the spin in the atmosphere here. Look at some of these storms across North Cascades, prolific lightning makers just off to the east there of Mount Baker here. So yeah, if you guys want to get out there and try to position yourself for some real thunderstorm activity, the North Cascades tomorrow might be your place to be. As you can see this spin in the atmosphere here, the low pressure is going to hang out with us probably until at least Tuesday. And this is looking at the supercell composite index, kind of combination of the instability and what kind of shear is available in the atmosphere. And as we go through the day today, you can see these areas off to the east kind of highlighted there. And as we go on in through Monday, check it out. You can see the potential for those stronger storms across the southern Idaho, northern Nevada area there. And a little bit of that shows up across the Cascades, mainly just a result of some of the Cape across the area there. So anyway, kind of interesting here to watch that upper level low come across the region. Now this is looking at 500 millibar temperatures, and you can kind of see this trough that we're under. These relatively chilly temperatures aloft, nothing too crazy, but it's just kind of a good visual indicator of what kind of trough we're dealing with here across the west, kind of hanging out for a while before the next system starts to get established across the Gulf of Alaska, which we'll watch here in the upcoming days. May actually help increase some of our temperatures here across Pacific Northwest. This is 700 millibars, 10,000 feet. This is the European as of last night. You can see the very warm air aloft across some of the area down here across Texas, New Mexico, and you can kind of see the troughing here in the west. It's keeping us from warming up too much, but at the same time, the sun is pretty strong here, and it doesn't take much to really bring us above average here across Pacific Northwest, as you'll see in the temperature charts here in a moment. This is day one excessive rainfall outlook for some of that heavier rainfall across some of the higher terrain. And they could have easily just put this out for a lot of Idaho, southwest Montana, and even across northern Nevada for the next day or two as well. But anyway, looking at Seattle yesterday, 71 degrees, 2 degrees below average, but a nice glorious day out there. Lots of sunshine. We're going to warm up a bit from that today as well, and then we're going to increase those temperatures as we go towards the end of this week and towards next weekend also. This is looking at daily 2-meter max temperature today. You can see Seattle about 77. Look at Oregon, Willamette Valley heating up into the low 80s by the time you get into tomorrow. Eastern Washington, some of the valleys of BC getting quite warm here as we go on in through Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Check it out. Pacific Northwest on this slow climb of temperatures as we go into the end of the week. And look by the weekend here. Some 90s for the Willamette Valley here, into the 80s for some of the Puget Sound. Monday again, some upper 80s even possible for Washington. Look at that, 100 plus degrees maybe in Eastern Washington next Monday. So yeah, here we go, folks. The heat is coming for the Pacific Northwest. Not an extreme heat wave or anything, but summer is definitely coming, as this would be the 4th of July. What a nice day across the area. This is looking at Seattle, Tacoma for the next 10 days or so, and you can see that we've got pretty well above average temperatures here with the potential for a couple warmer days in there, as you can see in yesterday afternoon's European. This was last night's European run, and look at just kind of the steady upper 70s, 80 degrees here for Seattle as we go on in through. This would be about Friday here. Now, this is looking at 500 millibars, 18,000 feet, general trough and ridge position here. This is yesterday afternoon's European ensemble run. This is an average of all 50 ensemble members. Kind of see the troughing here, the cat and mouse game going on between this troughing and this general ridging here across British Columbia. This trough kind of hangs out here across the Intermountain West as we go on in through the week, but still, we're going to warm up quite nicely across Pacific Northwest. And at this trough actually helping to amplify this ridge across the Pacific Northwest. Check that out. By the time we get 192 hours out, this would be next Sunday, but you can clearly see we're going to be warming up here quite nicely if this comes to fruition. As you can see, this big ridge developing down here across some of California here. So this would definitely be a warm up for the West Coast if the European extended forecast is correct here. You can kind of see the yin and the yang, the trough to the east and the ridge off to the west. Now, this is looking at the next 10 days precipitation anomaly. You can clearly see drier than normal here across a lot of the western BC area, down through western Washington and Oregon. Some places that do get those thunderstorms are going to be slightly above average here, including some of the North Cascades into BC here. It's just a little bit of an atypical pattern here. We usually don't get such persistent thunderstorms over the Pacific Northwest. We do tend to get them though, but we're going to be below average here probably for the next 10 days. And you can kind of see it here. This is run out 90 hours here. Let's actually back up and look at yesterday afternoon and bring that out 10 days. And you can see not a speck of rain for Seattle or Portland or for Vancouver there. It's all across the higher terrain, and it would be associated with that thunderstorm activity here. So very dry across western Washington, Oregon, and the lower elevations of British Columbia until you get north of Vancouver Island there, but still below average precipitation even for them. This is looking at 6 to 10 day temperature probability outlook here. Clear signal here for the West Coast as we go through July 4th and through July 8th. Again, big signal here across the West. This is 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook. Look at the desert Southwest, going to delay that monsoon onset down there, and Pacific Northwest below average also 8 to 14 day, again with the strong signal south and up towards Pacific Northwest as well. This is the drought monitor. This was issued June 22nd, so I've been talking about this for a couple days, but there is moderate drought now in place across a lot of the Washington Cascades and Oregon Cascades, but this has definitely been an improvement for a lot of the eastern slopes of the Cascades for Oregon. There was some exceptional drought, and the extreme drought has now been removed. So that's a good thing. But the redevelopment of the drought across the Cascades is kind of concerning here, folks. So let's try to keep let's keep those fire starts down a bit, shall we? And this is something that it seems like people are liking. This is kind of the rolling La Nina / El Nino page here. So this starts all the way back November 30th. You can see when we were back into La Nina here, and you can see how La Nina is now in the rear view mirror here. We went to neutral conditions, and now I'm going to start to scroll ahead here a bit. And these are 5-day chunks. And as we go on into May and early June, you can see the emergence of El Nino there across the equatorial Pacific. Kind of an interesting thing, the scrolling chart. As you can see, the very warm water along the coast of South America here. and you've got the maritime continent, and you've got Africa way over here, but you can see the Central Pacific would be right here. So that's El Nino, and it is starting to come here, folks. La Nina is now a distant memory, the 3 in a row that we had. So anyway, yeah, get out there and enjoy that weather today. Watch out if you're across the higher terrain, especially the North Cascades and anywhere east, as thunderstorms are going to be developing here. And if you're a real hardcore storm chaser, get down there the next couple of days towards the Nevada, Oregon, Idaho border and watch some of those quite strong storms, maybe even severe storms down there, especially tomorrow. It'd be quite an interesting look. You probably get some nice structure, some nice lightning here. You might even set a funnel cloud or two if you're out there across, south of Twin Falls, Idaho. So anyway, yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. Get out there and enjoy the weather, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.